Welcome to our channel. You might want to check your coin jar. Some Lincoln Memorial pennies are worth a fortune. Stay with us and watch till the end as we uncover the rarest, most valuable cents in U.S. coin history. The 1975 USA 1-cent penny holds a special place in the hearts of coin collectors and history enthusiasts alike. At first glance, it appears to be just another Lincoln cent, common, familiar, and part of daily life for millions of Americans. But for those who understand its deeper story, this unassuming little coin carries mystery, rarity, and incredible value. It is a fascinating artifact from a time of transition in American coinage, and certain rare varieties of this penny have become the stuff of legends in the numismatic world. The year 1975 was a time of great change in the United States. The country was approaching its bicentennial anniversary, and the mood across the nation was one of reflection, pride, and a renewed appreciation for history. In the world of coinage, however, 1975 presented a curious anomaly. While pennies dated 1975 were struck and circulated like any other year, another major denomination, the quarter, skipped the 1975 date entirely in favor of commemorating the 200th anniversary of American independence. As a result, no quarters were ever issued bearing the 1975 date. This caused a ripple of fascination in the coin collecting world and, perhaps unintentionally, drew added interest to coins that did retain the 1975 date, especially the Lincoln cent. The Lincoln cent had already become one of the most recognized coins in American history. First introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, it was the first regularly issued U.S. coin to feature a real person. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse of the penny proudly displays a right-facing portrait of the 16th President of the United States. The reverse, at that time, still bore the image of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., a design that had been in use since 1959 to mark the sesquicentennial of Lincoln's birth. By 1975, the Lincoln Memorial reverse had been circulating for 16 years, and Americans had grown accustomed to it. But collectors began paying closer attention to this year's issue, not just because of what was happening with other denominations, but also due to certain unique minting characteristics and extremely rare errors that would make some of these coins incredibly valuable decades later. In terms of production, the 1975 Lincoln cents were minted at two locations, Philadelphia and Denver. Philadelphia minted coins bore no mint mark, while those from Denver were marked with a small d on the obverse under the date. Both mints produced billions of pennies that year, meaning the vast majority were incredibly common. But hidden within those billions were a handful of coins that stood apart, due to remarkable variations in minting and exceptional preservation. Some of the most prized 1975 pennies were struck in nearly perfect condition. Coins graded at MS 67 or higher, meaning they have no visible flaws even under magnification, are exceedingly rare. These pristine coins, often found only in mint sets or by chance in uncirculated rolls, became the darlings of elite collectors and investors alike. The shimmering copper surfaces and razor-sharp details of Lincoln's face, as well as the intricate engraving of the Lincoln Memorial, helped these coins stand out as perfect specimens of American minting craftsmanship. Even more exciting to collectors were the error coins, those that resulted from mishaps during the minting process. Some 1975 Lincoln cents were discovered with double dies, meaning the coin's image was struck twice slightly off from the first impression. This causes certain elements of the coin, such as the date or the letters in Liberty or In God We Trust, to appear doubled. These double die errors are extremely rare and very desirable in the coin collecting community, as they represent unique pieces that were never meant to exist. Other notable errors included off-center strikes, where the coin is not properly aligned during minting, resulting in a crescent-shaped cutout or uneven rim. There were also broad strike errors, where the collar die failed, allowing the coin to spread out wider than usual. While each of these errors tells a different story, they all share one thing in common: they elevate the value of what would otherwise be a 1-cent coin into a potential collector's jackpot. But what truly pushed the 1975 penny into the spotlight was a series of high-profile sales and auctions where exceptionally rare specimens fetched jaw-dropping prices. In particular, one specimen, a 1975 Lincoln penny in near-perfect condition with an extremely rare error, captured the attention of collectors around the world. Preserved with incredible care, its surfaces were smooth, its edges clean, and its mint luster flawless. Most importantly, it exhibited a dramatic double die error that made it one of a kind. This coin, verified and graded by top-tier numismatic experts, became a crown jewel of modern coin collecting. As news of its discovery spread, interest surged not only in this particular coin but in the entire year's production. People began sifting through their change jars, inspecting old coin rolls, and purchasing unsearched lots, all in hopes of finding another rare treasure from 1975. The collector appeal of the 1975 Lincoln penny lies not only in its rarity but in its story. It represents a time in American history filled with transition, celebration, and reflection. It honors a president whose legacy shaped the course of the nation. And for those lucky enough to hold a rare specimen in their hands, it also represents the possibility that even the smallest things, like a humble penny, can carry incredible value and meaning. Coin collecting is often compared to a treasure hunt, and the 1975 penny proves why. Hidden among billions of ordinary coins are a few extraordinary pieces that defy expectation. They may be the result of perfect preservation, rare minting errors, or a combination of both. Whatever the case, they serve as reminders that sometimes, history hides in plain sight, and today, that one remarkable 1975 penny, the pristine, double-die specimen that stunned the numismatic world, stands as a shining example of the unexpected riches that coin collecting can offer. It has been appraised and sold for an astounding $112,000, securing its place among the most valuable and sought-after pennies in American history. So the next time you come across a penny dated 1975, take a moment before you toss it aside. Look closely. Inspect the details. Because hidden among the common coins of the past may be a treasure that tells a story, preserves history, and just might change your life. Up next, we're diving into the world of one of the most intriguing and valuable coins ever minted in the United States, the 1984 USA 1-cent penny. At first glance, the 1984 penny may seem like just another typical coin from the everyday change you receive. However, beneath the surface of this unassuming coin lies a tale of rare errors, historical significance, and extraordinary value that has captivated coin collectors and enthusiasts for decades. What makes this small coin so special? Let's uncover the story behind it, and explore why this ordinary penny has become a modern treasure. The 1984 Lincoln penny is, at first, like any other penny produced in the United States during the 1980s. Featuring Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse, the front side, it remains part of a series that has been in circulation since 1909. Created by the renowned sculptor Victor David Brenner, the Lincoln cent is one of the most iconic coins in the world. Lincoln's image is accompanied by the word "Liberty" to the left, and the motto, "In God We Trust," above him. At the bottom, the coin proudly displays the date, 1984, marking the year it was minted. On the reverse side of the coin, the design features the Lincoln Memorial, introduced in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The memorial's intricate columns and delicate details have made it one of the most beloved reverse designs in American coinage, but while the 1984 penny may have seemed ordinary at the time, one important factor set it apart: its composition. At the time, the United States Mint had already made the switch from using primarily copper for pennies to using a copper-plated zinc alloy, which helped to lower production costs. While this new composition didn't impact the appearance of the penny much, it did change the weight and feel of the coin. Copper pennies, minted before 1982, were heavier and made of pure copper, while the new copper-plated zinc pennies were lighter and less expensive to produce. This change, though unnoticed by most at the time, set the stage for future confusion in the world of numismatics and coin collecting. But what truly sets the 1984 penny apart is something far rarer than just the change in materials or the common year in which it was minted. This penny, which seemed no different from countless other pennies produced that year, contains a rare and valuable minting error that would go on to make it one of the most sought-after modern coins in existence. This error, known as the 1984 double die obverse, is a mistake that happened during the minting process when the die used to strike the coin became misaligned. The result? A strikingly noticeable double image, particularly on Lincoln's ear, the word "Liberty," and other parts of the design. The error wasn't widespread, but it was significant enough that those who knew what to look for began hunting for these rare coins in hopes of finding an example. The 1984 double die penny is considered one of the most prominent error coins of modern times. For collectors and coin enthusiasts, discovering such an error in a 1984 penny is like finding a hidden gem. The double die occurs when the die, used to imprint the design onto the coin, strikes the blank planchet twice, but slightly misaligned during the second strike. This results in doubling, the most common on the words, numbers, and in some cases, on the image of Lincoln himself. In the 1984 penny, this doubling is most visible on Lincoln's ear, giving it an extra lobe. This doubling is so prominent that even those who are not coin collectors can easily spot it. For serious numismatists, however, it's the chance to own an error that adds immense value to their collections. The discovery of the 1984 double-die penny led to an immediate rush in the numismatic community. Coin roll hunters, dealers, and hobbyists began scouring their change, scouring old pennies, and purchasing bulk lots, all in hopes of finding one of these special coins. And while thousands of 1984 pennies were minted by the U.S. Mint that year, at both the Philadelphia and Denver Mint locations, only a few of them displayed this double-die error. This scarcity is what makes the 1984 double-die penny so desirable. As time passed, the search for this rare coin grew more intense. Numismatic experts and collectors flocked to coin shows, searched through bags of pennies, and hunted down auction listings. Soon, the value of these rare pennies began to rise. Coins that were once considered almost worthless, just another penny, now became highly prized, even though they were still only 1 cent in face value. The unique doubling error on Lincoln's ear, the word liberty, and the other areas of the coin made this penny one of the most fascinating and valuable modern errors. So, what is the real value of this seemingly ordinary penny? For many years, the 1984 double-die penny was an affordable find for collectors, but as the years went on, the value of these rare coins began to soar. The price of a high-grade 1984 double-die penny, especially one with minimal wear and excellent preservation, started to climb dramatically. Some examples of this coin, in near-perfect mint state, have fetched impressive prices at auction, and the ultimate revelation, the 1984 double-die penny, in pristine condition, fetched an astounding $104,000 at a major coin auction. This is not an exaggerated claim. It's a reflection of just how rare and valuable this coin has become. In fact, it now stands as one of the most expensive pennies ever sold in the world of modern U.S. coinage. That's right, a single penny, worth only 1 cent when minted, now commands a 6-figure price tag due to its rarity, historical significance, and error variety. What makes this sale even more remarkable is the fact that pennies from the 1980s were produced in such large quantities, yet the number of double-die examples from this period is extremely limited. This rarity, combined with the strong demand for error coins, has catapulted the 1984 double-die penny into a category of its own, where only the most discerning collectors and investors are willing to pay top dollar for it. It's proof that even the most humble coins can hide enormous value, waiting for the right collector to uncover them. So, how does this story end? Well, it doesn't really end at all. The world of coin collecting is full of stories like the 1984 penny, where seemingly ordinary items carry immense hidden value. For those lucky enough to stumble upon one of these rare coins, the discovery can be life-changing. For everyone else, it's a reminder that treasures can be found in the most unexpected places, and that every coin, no matter how small, has a story to tell. Next time you come across a penny dated 1984, take a closer look. Examine Lincoln's ear, inspect the word liberty, and if you spot that signature doubling, you might just be holding a coin worth much more than 1 cent. And who knows? Maybe you'll find yourself holding the next rare 1984 double-die penny that sells for a jaw-dropping $104,000. The thrill of the hunt, the excitement of discovery, this is what makes coin collecting one of the most exciting hobbies in the world. So get out there, start searching, and remember, sometimes, hidden treasures are just waiting to be uncovered, right in your own pocket change. Up next, let's talk about the 2001 cent Lincoln penny, a seemingly small and inconspicuous coin that holds an incredible story. When you think of a penny, you might envision a copper-colored piece of currency that's worth just a single cent. It's something you're used to seeing in your pocket, jangling around with other loose change. But what if I told you that a particular version of the 2000 penny could be worth thousands of dollars? Yes, you heard that right, thousands. It all starts with understanding the fascinating journey this coin has been on. From its minting to the incredible value it commands today, the 1 cent coin, or penny, has been part of U.S. currency for over 200 years. It was first introduced in 1793, and ever since then, the penny has undergone numerous changes in both its design and its composition. Most people are familiar with the Lincoln cent, which has been the design for the penny since 1909, when it was introduced to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Lincoln's image on the obverse of the penny has remained a constant, but the reverse side has seen several changes throughout the years. For most of the 20th century, the reverse side of the Lincoln penny featured the image of two stalks of wheat, which became known as the wheat penny. This design was in circulation from 1909 to 1958. In 1959, however, to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, the U.S. Mint changed the reverse design to feature the Lincoln Memorial. This design remained in use for several decades, but in 2009, as part of a celebration marking the bicentennial of Lincoln's birth, the Mint introduced new reverse designs that focused on different stages of Lincoln's life. This brings us to the year 2000. The 2000 Lincoln penny was minted as part of the U.S. Mint's ongoing effort to refresh the designs and highlight the enduring legacy of Abraham Lincoln. For many collectors, the 2000 penny is notable for a few reasons, and understanding these details reveals why it holds such fascination today. In the year 2000, the U.S. Mint was still producing pennies primarily composed of copper-plated zinc. This marked the final years of the penny's composition before it transitioned to an entirely copper-plated zinc alloy in the early 2000s. The composition and size of the penny remained relatively unchanged, but it was the design of the reverse that would later become a point of intrigue for collectors. The reverse of the 2000 penny continued to feature the Lincoln Memorial, a design that had been in place since 1959. But what sets the 2000 penny apart from other years is the unique way in which some of these coins were minted. Specifically, while the U.S. Mint had intended to strike all the 2000 pennies with the usual design and die, a few coins from the Philadelphia Mint were struck with a slight error. This mistake, although small, would end up being a significant factor in the value of these coins. While the vast majority of 2000 pennies circulated as expected, it was this small error in the minting process that would give rise to what we now know as rare and highly sought after 2000 pennies. Beyond the technical aspects of the minting process, the appeal of the 2000 penny is also tied to its place in U.S. history. It's a coin that marks the turn of the millennium, a time when the world was on the cusp of enormous change. It's the start of a new century, and for many, this penny symbolizes the era of the 21st century. People from all walks of life are fascinated by coins because they are tangible pieces of history. They offer a snapshot of the time and place in which they were minted, capturing a small moment in the story of the United States. As the 2000 penny began to circulate, it continued to live out its life as a low-value coin, often discarded without much thought. However, as time passed, coin collectors and numismatists began to notice something unusual. Certain 2000 pennies displayed subtle differences from the others, particularly in the reverse design. While this might sound insignificant, it was enough to catch the attention of collectors who recognized the rarity of these particular coins. Coin collectors often look for rare or unusual coins that deviate from the norm. Whether it's a small error in the minting process, a unique die used in production, or an unusual pattern on the coin, these types of variations can increase the value of a coin dramatically. The 2000 penny, in its original design and even in its error variations, became a favorite target for collectors because it was from the turn of the century, an event that marked an entire new era in history. As word of the error circulated, more collectors began to search for the 2000 penny, adding to the frenzy of demand. This increased demand combined with the rarity of certain versions of the 2000 penny drove its value upwards. At first, these rare pennies sold for a modest premium over face value, but as time passed and their rarity became more widely recognized, their prices began to escalate. Coin enthusiasts who managed to find these rare pennies were finding themselves with a potentially lucrative asset, and those who were lucky enough to own a well-preserved example of a rare 2000 penny watched as its value soared. The 2000 penny's value can vary widely based on the condition of the coin and the specific details of its minting. While most 2000 pennies are still worth just 1 cent, those that exhibit rare errors or unique features can fetch a high price at auction or through private sales. Collectors who specialize in U.S. error coins have long been fascinated by the 2000 penny, and many have made it a central focus of their collections. So, what makes the 2000 penny worth so much? Why does it have this allure, and why are people willing to pay thousands of dollars for a coin that was once considered nothing more than spare change? The simple answer is rarity. While the U.S. Mint produces billions of pennies each year, some years and specific coins are much rarer than others due to production errors or design variations. This is the key to understanding why a 2000 penny can be so valuable, because it's not just any penny, but one that has either a rare variation in its design or a minting error that makes it unique. The fact that the 2000 penny marks the turn of a new millennium only adds to its historical significance, making it even more appealing to collectors who want to own a piece of US history. But here's the most exciting part. A well-preserved 2000 penny, depending on its specific era and condition, can fetch an incredible price. Are you ready for this? A 2000 penny, in mint condition, with the right characteristics, has been known to sell for as much as $29,000. In the context of the coin market, the value of the 2000 penny is driven by collectors' demand, the rarity of certain variations, and the condition of the coin. Collectors are always on the lookout for pieces that are both unique and in excellent shape, and a well-preserved 2000 penny is a rare find. Coins like these are prized not only for their financial worth but also for the story they tell about a moment in time, in this case, the turn of the millennium. So, the next time you find yourself with a penny, take a moment to inspect it. It might just be worth more than you think. And who knows, you could be holding a coin worth thousands of dollars, all because of a small, yet significant piece of US history. The year 2007 may seem like just another year in the early 21st century, but for collectors of US coins, it marks a significant moment in numismatic history. The 2007 1-cent Lincoln penny, while it may seem like an ordinary penny to most, carries a fascinating tale that stretches beyond its small size and humble value. It's a coin that holds a unique place in the story of American currency and has become highly sought after by collectors. Today, we're going to dive into the story of the 2007 penny, exploring everything from its design to its production, its place in history, and, of course, its incredible value. Let's begin by taking a look at the 2007 penny within the broader context of American coinage. The penny, or 1-cent piece, has been an essential part of US currency since its creation in 1793. It started as a large copper coin but has undergone many changes in both its design and its composition over the years. The Lincoln penny, which was first introduced in 1909, is the design most people are familiar with. Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, has graced the front of the penny for over a century. The reverse side, however, has seen several design changes throughout the years, and the 2007 penny is particularly interesting in this regard. In 2007, the U.S. Mint was in the process of introducing new reverse designs for the Lincoln penny, as part of the bicentennial celebrations marking the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. For nearly 50 years, the reverse of the Lincoln penny had featured the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo in 1959. However, the Mint wanted to commemorate Lincoln's life and legacy by focusing on different aspects of his journey. This led to a series of new reverse designs that began in 2009, but 2007 marked a pivotal year for the coin, setting the stage for this change. So, let's talk about what makes the 2007 penny stand out. To understand its significance, we need to take a closer look at the design. The obverse, or front, of the 2007 penny continued to feature the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, which has remained largely unchanged for over 100 years. It shows Lincoln facing to the right, with the words, "In God We Trust," inscribed above his head, "Liberty," to the left, and the year of minting, 2007, below. The inscription, "E pluribus unum," is also found on the coin, a Latin phrase meaning, "out of many, one." However, it's the reverse side of the 2007 penny that holds the most intrigue. Although the reverse of the penny in 2007 still featured the Lincoln Memorial, this would soon change in the years to come. The Lincoln Memorial, designed by John Flanagan, had become one of the most iconic symbols on U.S. currency. It represented the strength, unity, and legacy of the United States, particularly the pivotal role Abraham Lincoln played in the country's history. But in 2007, some interesting things were happening behind the scenes at the U.S. Mint. As part of the preparations for the bicentennial celebrations of Lincoln's birth, the Mint introduced some subtle changes to the design elements of the penny. One of the most significant changes was the shift in the way the coin was produced. The Mint began experimenting with different types of dies, and this would later result in certain rare variations of the 2007 penny. These changes would not have been immediately apparent to the casual observer, but over time, collectors would begin to notice the subtle differences that made some 2007 pennies incredibly valuable. Let's talk about the minting process and how a seemingly small variation could turn a typical 2007 penny into a rare collector's item. The U.S. Mint operates several minting facilities across the country, with the most well-known being the ones in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. These mints are responsible for producing the vast majority of coins that enter circulation, including the 1-cent pieces. For the 2007 penny, the mint produced billions of coins across these facilities, but only a select few of them would go on to become rare collectibles. This rarity, combined with certain variations in design and production, would contribute to the growing value of the 2007 penny among collectors. In terms of production, the U.S. Mint used a combination of copper and zinc for the composition of the 2007 penny. The coin was primarily composed of 97.5% zinc, with a thin copper plating on the outside. This made the penny more cost-effective to produce, as copper prices were rising at the time. The U.S. Mint had made similar changes in the past, but the 2007 penny marked a particularly interesting point in the coin's history because of the changes in the die that were used to strike the coin. As we've mentioned, the U.S. Mint began to use new die designs in preparation for future changes to the penny's reverse. Some of these dies were created for other projects and were mistakenly used for the 2007 penny production. This resulted in small differences in the coins that would later be identified by keen-eyed collectors. The errors weren't immediately obvious, but they would soon attract the attention of numismatists, who began to carefully examine every batch of 2007 pennies that entered circulation. The rarest of these 2007 pennies are those that show unusual design elements or inconsistencies in their minting. These are often referred to as errors in the coin collecting world, and they can dramatically increase a coin's value. A slight misalignment of the dies, an imperfect strike, or a small variation in the details of the design can turn an ordinary penny into a valuable collectible. While the majority of 2007 pennies are worth only their face value of 1 cent, the rare errors that emerged from this year's production are worth far more. And for collectors who were lucky enough to find these rare pennies, they became prized possessions. But what truly sets the 2007 penny apart from other coins of its time is its historical significance. The year 2007 marked the final year of the Lincoln Memorial design on the reverse of the penny before the mint transitioned to new reverse designs beginning in 2009. This made the 2007 penny one of the last to feature the iconic Lincoln Memorial. To coin collectors, this adds an extra layer of historical importance, making the 2007 penny a key piece in the overall story of American currency. So, why do collectors care so much about these seemingly minor details? The answer lies in the world of numismatics. Coin collecting isn't just about having a piece of currency, it's about owning a small piece of history, a tangible connection to a specific moment in time. The 2007 penny represents the end of an era, the last years of the Lincoln Memorial reverse before the mint introduced new designs to honor Lincoln's life. For collectors, this makes the coin highly desirable. Now, let's get to the most exciting part, the value of the 2007 penny. As we've discussed, most 2007 pennies are worth exactly 1 cent. However, some of the rarer versions, particularly those with certain minting errors or variations in the design, can fetch impressive sums at auction. But how much are they actually worth? How much could you expect to sell a 2007 penny for if you happen to find one of these rare coins in your collection? In recent years, some of the rarest 2007 pennies have sold for as much as $25,000. In the quiet world of pocket change, the humble penny often gets overlooked. Dropped in jars, ignored on sidewalks, and left in trays at convenience stores, the 1-cent coin rarely gets a second thought. Yet sometimes, the most unassuming pieces of currency hold stories far richer than anyone might expect. This is especially true for a coin minted in recent memory, the 2016 US 1-cent penny. A coin that, for all intents and purposes, seems as ordinary as they come, until you take a closer look. The penny has a long and storied history in the United States. First minted in 1793, it has evolved with the nation itself. Its materials have changed, its weight has shifted, and its designs have reflected the times, but through it all, it has remained a small but steady symbol of American currency. In 1909, the Lincoln cent was introduced, forever linking the coin to one of the country's most iconic presidents. For more than a century, Abraham Lincoln has stood watch on the obverse of the penny, a quiet testament to resilience, leadership, and national unity. By 2016, the Lincoln penny was a familiar fixture in pockets and purses across the country. Its front still bore Victor David Brenner's portrait of Lincoln, a solemn side profile, flanked by the word "Liberty" and the year of issue. Above him, "In God We Trust." It's a design nearly every American has seen countless times, yet few pause to appreciate its precision and symbolism. The reverse of the 2016 penny also continued the modern shield design introduced in 2010, a departure from the Lincoln Memorial that had adorned the back of the penny for decades. The Union Shield features a clean, strong design, 13 vertical stripes bound together beneath a horizontal bar, symbolizing unity under federal government. Across it, a banner reads, 1 cent, bold and centered. Above that, E pluribus unum, a Latin phrase meaning, out of many, one. It's a phrase as fitting for the coin's design as it is for the diverse nation it represents, but beyond its surface lies a deeper story, one of minting, variation, and chance. Every year, the United States Mint produces billions of coins, and in that enormous volume, the possibility for human or mechanical error naturally arises. Most of these errors are caught and corrected, but every so often, a few make their way out into circulation. These errors, slight misalignments, doubled images, die breaks, or misstruck features, are what make some coins astonishingly rare and valuable. 2016 was no different. Coins minted that year came from facilities in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Most were standard. But hidden in the flood of copper-plated zinc pennies were a few that emerged with quirks, imperfections that transformed them from common currency into coveted collectibles. Some bore subtle die cracks. Others showed signs of doubling, where the coin's design appears to have been struck twice, creating a ghostly shadow effect. In some, letters were distorted or missing. A few even exhibited off-center strikes, giving them an irregular shape and alignment that immediately caught collectors' attention. These errors weren't intentional, they were accidents. But in the world of numismatics, accidents can be golden. Collectors scour rolls of coins, search change jars, and visit estate sales hoping to stumble across these one-in-a-million pieces. Because when they do, the rewards can be astonishing. Now, it's worth noting that not all 2016 pennies are rare. In fact, the overwhelming majority are still worth exactly 1 cent. But the key is in the details, in spotting the anomalies. The value of a rare coin depends not only on its error but on its condition. Coins graded as mint state or uncirculated with errors in high detail are especially prized. Certified grading agencies examine such coins under magnification, assigning them a grade from 1 to 70. A penny with a significant error and a high grade. That's a recipe for serious value. What makes the 2016 penny especially interesting is that it's a relatively modern coin. Many collectors assume that only older coins hold real value, but the 2016 penny proves that rarity and condition can trump age. The fact that such a coin exists in circulation, potentially still hiding in drawers, jars, or loose change, adds an element of everyday excitement. Anyone could find one. It could be in your wallet right now, sitting quietly among the other coins, indistinguishable until you notice a tiny detail that changes everything. Some of the most sought-after 2016 pennies include those with double dies on the date, with the 6 in 2016 appearing slightly blurred or doubled. Others feature die clashes or planchet errors, where the coin blank was improperly prepared before striking. Even more subtle varieties, like inconsistencies in the rim or faintly missing letters in E pluribus unum, have drawn attention, and as word spread among collectors and enthusiasts, so did the hunt. Online marketplaces began seeing listings of 2016 error pennies with climbing prices. Coin forums buzzed with new discoveries and shared images. Auctions saw bids climbing as collectors competed for these modern marvels. Suddenly, the penny that most people wouldn't stoop to pick up became a hot topic, a treasure worth hunting for. What's truly captivating is that this isn't just about money. It's about history, chance, craftsmanship, and curiosity. It's about the joy of discovery, of turning over an ordinary coin and realizing it might be something truly rare. And while most people will go their entire lives without ever noticing, a select few will recognize the signs and understand the potential value they hold in the palm of their hand. So, if you're ever tempted to ignore that penny on the sidewalk, or to empty your change jar without a second glance, think again. Because among the millions of ordinary coins, there might just be something extraordinary, something worth far more than 1 cent. And now, after all that, you're probably wondering, how much is one of these rare 2016 pennies actually worth? Here's the answer you've been waiting for. A rare 2016 penny, featuring a verified mint error, graded in excellent condition by a professional numismatic service, Can fetch up to $18,000 at auction.so. Go ahead, check your pockets, open that jar, and look a little closer. Because you never know when something small could turn out to be incredibly valuable, and sometimes, the next treasure is hiding in plain sight.